Today, I want to talk to you about the most important constitutional amendment you have never heard of. That's the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. If you know a decent amount about your government, you might know what the First Amendment is. You might have heard of Second Amendment rights. You might have gotten an opinion about Fourth Amendment rights on a TV show and protecting your home. Maybe you know about pleading the Fifth, but very few people know what the 14th Amendment is, and yet it affects you every single day. Why? Because the 14th Amendment secures the privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States and secures to everyone the equal protection of the laws. It also provides for due process of law. Now, what does all of that mean? The Privileges and Immunities Clause of the 14th Amendment was passed just after the Civil War as part of what are known as the Reconstruction Amendments to the Constitution. We fought a whole Civil War over whether everyone was equal, no matter their race, no matter whether they had been a slave or not. And after the war, it was radical Republicans, as they were known at the time, in Congress, who believed that we needed to make sure once and for all that everybody's rights were protected. One of the constitutional amendments they passed to ensure that was the 14th Amendment, which gave Congress power and also the courts power to protect individuals from states. If that sounds obvious, consider this. Up until 1868, it had long been held that the first 10 amendments to the Bill of Rights only really protected you against the federal government. That means that the right to keep and bear arms was a right that states had to have militias and that individuals could be sure couldn't be interfered with by the federal government. But it didn't protect your rights if your state, let's say Pennsylvania, suddenly said, hey, you know what? We're taking all the guns away. We won't let you own any guns. There was no protection. There was a case early in our nation's history called Barron versus Baltimore, where Chief Justice John Marshall said that the rights of the Bill of Rights did not apply against the state governments. So, who began to abuse most of our rights? It wasn't the federal government. We were protected from them. It was state governments that began to take people's rights away. They passed laws, prohibited people from saying things against slavery in the South, or they would pass laws restricting speech in other ways. They would pass laws keeping people from having due process or getting rid of jury trials in certain situations, and there was nothing in the Constitution to stop states from doing that. So in 1868, the 14th Amendment was drafted and passed. The 14th Amendment is almost as long as the entire Bill of Rights put together, but the main part you want to focus on is in Section 1, where it says all citizens, all individuals who are born in the United States are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. In other words, a state can't say, well, you're not a citizen here. You've only lived here for a year. You moved here from California, and we don't really like Californians, so we're not protecting your rights. No, you're a citizen of the state wherein you reside. As soon as you move there and become a resident, you're a citizen there if you're a citizen of the United States, if you're born and naturalized in the United States. It also says that no state may abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States. What this means is they can't take away anything that's been recognized as a privilege or immunity of American citizenship. This certainly includes the rights that are in the Bill of Rights. It also includes other rights that are talked about in the federal Constitution. Some of the jury trial rights, for example, that come from Article 3 of the Constitution, and also privileges and immunities even that aren't in the Constitution, but which are a part of our history and tradition in the United States. The 14th Amendment also provides for equal protection of the laws. And this is where a lot of things have been litigated to say that states can't discriminate based on race or based on age. If they put burdens on someone who's over a certain age and say, well, you have to do things to prove that you're capable of independent living, or at a certain age we presumably, we presume that you're not able to take care of yourself and we'll put somebody else in charge of your life. These types of laws have been stricken down because they don't provide for equal protection of the laws. The 14th Amendment is extremely important. It protects your rights. And many times when somebody says, this state is burdening my Second Amendment rights or my First Amendment rights, what you may not realize is what they're really burdening is your 14th Amendment rights, which protects you against your state governments.